Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres, and along with Fred Altvater, we bring you the latest in the world of golf. And today, Fred, we talked about last year. It's just a year now that we talked about a probable world tour that we were suggesting, the PGA Tour and the European Tour to fix and see how they can move forward with that, right? But I see that you saw something about a senior Ryder Cup or something like that. What was that you saw?
The other day, Carlos, on Facebook, there was somebody had something about a senior tour version of a Ryder Cup. And so I got to thinking, would that work? And they had even listed some possible teams and that kind of thing. And so, we've been talking a little bit about some of the guys that are on the Champions Tour right now, with Phil moving up there, Steve Stricker up there, Jim Furyk, of course, Freddie Couples is still there. Of course, Bernhard Langer is always a name. You've got Darren Clark winning now on the Champions Tour. And Colin Montgomery is playing there. So there's some really good names that would bring a lot of credibility and excitement to a senior tour or a Champions Tour type Ryder Cup. And then I'd like to even maybe take it one more step, Carlos, and say, well, here's the problem. The PGA owns the Ryder Cup, right? So the PGA Tour owns the Champions Tour. So it's kind of a cross purpose here. That doesn't really work. So the PGA Tour owns the President's Cup, though. So what they could do, and this would have a couple of benefits. The PGA Tour already owns it, so they could do a senior President's Cup. And that would allow them, they could alter the rules, say, well, it's Europe, the best players from Europe, and also the rest of the world. So that would bring in Retief Goosen and Ernie Els into the mix. So so now, in addition to Bernhard Langer, Colin Montgomery, Miguel Angel, Darren Clark, some of the other great European names, you throw in Ernie and Retief, now you've got some real interest to the rest of the world, and you've still got those American names in there to make a senior President's Cup team. So I don't think maybe the Ryder Cup thing would work, because the PGA owns it. They'd have to do it. But they could do a senior President's Cup and bring those other guys in. I think you could get sponsors to kick in. I think you could get, Rolex and Cadillac and Mercedes and all these people, because the older people, the people to watch a senior tour or the Champions Tour are older people that own businesses and have some discretionary income that buy those things anyhow. So they would be natural sponsors for that. And then the other point I wanted to make with that, Carlos, is that way back in the beginning, when the LPGA Tour wanted to do an international competition like the Ryder Cup, they got Karsten Ping to jump on board and sponsor the whole thing. Been a huge marketing strategy for Ping doing that. It's just been gigantic for them. Why not somebody like Titleist or Callaway or, another one of the equipment companies jumping on board to be a presenting sponsor of this senior President's Cup or whatever, so they could cover the cost. So whatever they're getting from TV money and other sponsor money, that's all pocket change. So I don't know. I think it has some real merit. I think people would maybe watch it.
I think they will, but the issue that I see that you're bringing here is who's going to sponsor it at the end of the day,
Yep.
because it would be the PGA or the PGA Tour, right? Along with the European Tour, because the European Tour has the European Senior Tour.
Right.
They have their own players there as well. I think the prospect is amazing. I mean, the seniors, let's call it the 50 and over, whichever tour you want to call it, Champions Tour or the European Senior Tour, which is the Stay Shore Tour now.
Right.
So the thing is how you are going to really accumulate points for it. That's the first thing that you have to think about, how you're going to do it, which comes into play what you were saying about, because there's some players playing the Stay Shore Tour, but a lot of the big names are not there, like Colin, Bernhard. They're all on this side of the pond.
You'd have to do a world points deal like the Ryder Cup team does, the European Ryder. They have world points and they have European Tour, but you'd have to do something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you're going to bring in the players from the Stature Tour, because there's a lot of them that just prefer to stay there. They have their own tournaments. They don't have to be doing the whole traveling that they would have to do here on the Champions Tour. But then it begs to see if you want to expand it to the world, right? Because then you would have an everything else. You would have Retief Kuz and maybe other players that could come into play as well. But it would be a great idea for those players that after 50 they can say, hey, I still have this team thing that I used to do when I was on, on my heyday, and I would play in the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup. So also would attract more of that visibility to those tours, which really they don't have right now. And that is kind of the competition that would really keep these players after 50 still engaged, because they have something to look for every 2 years, like they did when they were under the 50 and they were trying to do the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup. I truly don't think there should be an issue finding the sponsors. The only issue I see is how you're going to classify the people for this. And then the captains, how are you going to get them? You know, the young guys, or you're going to go the 70 and over. How are you going to get the captains and the assistant captains? Uh, I mean, it's a fun idea. There's a lot of things that they would have to go through, but the main issue that I see is how you're going to qualify them and how you're going to do maybe those committees to pick up the people that are going to be there as well. So I do like it. I hope that they can come up with something. And hey, if you guys want some consultation, Fred and I are here to help you
Give
out.
us a call. Carlos, and the other thing, the other point I wanted to make on this, when the Champions Tours first started, when way before there was a Champions Tour, it was a team deal. It was a two-man best ball. And there would just be like 8 or 10 teams of some buddies get together down there in Texas. And I think what Demerit and Burke started down there, right? In Texas. They had some guys come in, and it started out as a two-man best ball kind of deal. And so this is what most golfers relate to, are playing a little two-man game at their club or with their buddies or whatever, right? And I just think it would have a lot of merit. The Solheim Cup has become such a big deal. The Ryder Cup's such a big deal. I think this might have some merit going forward.
I truly think so, and hopefully we can keep talking about it, and we'll push for this. Fred, let's make it happen so that when they start talking about this senior,
I'll get
right?
Jay on the phone. Say, Jay, here's what you need to do. We'll get Jay and Keith. We'll do a little three-way with them and say, here's what you need to do, guys.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So with that, let us know, okay? Write to us. Let us know what you think, and we're gonna be promoting this stuff. You'll see. We'll talk to Jay or Keith and whoever wants to get on it. We'll get this done. So hope you like it. The Senior Ryder Cup.